And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
First day of the weekend, Saturday morning, showing a lot of IFR here, Bering Strait, all the way down across the Bering Sea here to the Aleutians, and then into western and southwestern Bristol Bay along the north coast of the the Alaska Peninsula, marginal VFR on the north coast of the Seward Peninsula, and marginal VFR central eastern Arctic coast, good VFR here in the interior all the way down Kodiak Island into the Gulf, and marginal VFR for the southeast coast. Moving to the afternoon, stays pretty marginal here for the Panhandle with VFR, no change here. Gulf of Alaska, Kodiak, Aleutian Range, right on up to the Arctic coast, VFR. Some IFR here through the Bering Strait and St. Lawrence Island, mostly marginal for the afternoon. Same thing for Nunivak Island. And then still a lot of IFR out here over the Bering Sea and most of the Aleutians. And then for Sunday morning, pretty much solid IFR here for the Bering Sea and the Aleutian chain to the north side of the Alaska Peninsula there. Looks like some IFR may push into the Yukon Delta coast, but staying nice over the interior. North slope all the way down, again to Kodiak Island into the Gulf. Good VFR, a little bit of marginal VFR sliding up into the Yakutat area there. May get as far west as the Wrangell Mountains. And then areas of marginal VFR for the southeast coast. And for the afternoon, improving here. Marginal VFR burning back out to the coastline there. And marginal VFR up along the North Gulf Coast into Prince William Sound. Interior staying nice. VFR from the Arctic coast southward all the way down to Togiak and the Kuskokwim Bay areas with mostly VFR for the Alaska Peninsula. Marginal VFR Kodiak Island, marginal VFR Eastern Aleutians. Otherwise, the remainder of the Bering Sea and Aleutians will be IFR. And for the passes, Anatuvik and Adigan, VFR for the day Friday. For Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday as well. VFR, Lake Clark and Merrill, same forecast for rainy VFR and windy VFR through the weekend. In fact, these VFR forecasts go right through the weekend. Isabel VFR, Mentasta VFR, and Tanita VFR, Portage VFR, Chilkoot and White, occasionally marginal tomorrow, and moving on to freezing levels, 8,000 feet over interior Alaska here, and about 8,000 feet out over the Bering Sea, so not much temperature variation out here across the forecast area. Moving on to icing, just a slight threat of a chance of some light icing reaching the eastern Aleutians, say Nikolsky back to Atka, and maybe mixed icing possibilities due to the showers, thunderstorms developing over the eastern Copper River Basin, and also chance of some icing over the southeast coast, but nothing very significant in any of those zones. And the icing with the over the southeast coast, associated with this low west of the Queen Charlotte's drifting eastward there, and high pressure over the interior, light winds at jet stream level here, also into the Bering Sea, although we've got about 100 knots there coming onto the chart, but that's staying even south-southwest of Shimia and Attu. So taking a look at 9,000 feet, light variable winds here across much of the area in the Bering Sea, 40-knot winds way up there over the Russian Far East, and maybe some east-southeast at about 30 knots here for the central eastern Aleutian areas in a narrow band, more like 25 knots actually, and pretty light for the southeast coast. Stronger winds with this system as it tracks in toward the Queen Charlotte, stay south of the area at 9,000 feet, and even less wind at 3,000 feet here for the southeast coast. Light and variable over much of the state and out into the Bering Sea and the Aleutians as well. So turbulence-wise, we're not looking for any significant turbulence anywhere around the state, at least through Saturday.